Hello, this is Chris Mello, your AWS source of hands-on lab information. And in this lab, we are going from creating a RDS MySQL database. And in these next step 3 here, we are going to create an ec2 instance so we can access the RDS database via a web page. So I've been doing this for, I think, 7 years now, working with AWS, and I have got 3 certifications, and I am ready to help you as much as I can. So here we go with the next section. Thank you. I'm back for part 3. In the previous videos, we created a database for our SQL, and we connected to it using Visual Studio Code. Now we're going to try to connect to that RDS SQL database using a PHP page. So let's just go back and make sure that the database is still here, which, okay, I cleaned it up. We created 2 last time, duplicates, but to keep my costs down, I have the first one we did, database 2022. It's still here. Now we want to actually take a web page and try to connect to that so we can be more dynamic. So the first thing we're going to do then is we're going to have to create a ec2 instance. So that will be the next step that we're going to do. So the first step we're going to need to do is create an ec2 instance here that we can use to basically host our PHP web page. Since it's a dynamic web page, we need an ec2 instance. So let's go ahead and click on go to services here like we've done in the past and click on all services, and this will come up. And here's ec2 here in the corner, and if you click on the ec2, you should get the dashboard will come up. And here you can see I've got 3 instances running here. And we are going to launch a new instance that we will go through. I've actually have one already, but we'll go through the exercise. I'll try to go slow and methodical here. So we want to click Launch Instance down here. And this will come up to our new window. And we need to name this. I'll call this my, PHP test page, I guess we'll call it, which is fine. Not pi, my. We'll come down here. We want to keep everything free tier. I like free tier. I'm going to go with Ubuntu because I've been using this lately, but you can use Amazon Linux. But I have to be honest with you, I've had better luck with PHP installs with Ubuntu than I have the Amazon Linux AWS. But we're going to go through Ubuntu here. Here's the free service, free tier eligible. That's a magic to my ears. Free tier eligible. Okay. Now I'll create a new key pair here just because to show you how to do it. So we'll create a new key pair here. We'll call it my PHP key, which is fair enough. And I'm going to use I'm going to be using a Mac, so I'm going to have PEM. But if you're going to be using Windows, you have to use a .ppk file for PuTTY. So that's the one I'm going to use, and this is going to download. And you'll need this later on to SSH in. So this is very important to do this. And let's just go down a little bit more. We'll create the key pair and store that out somewhere safe. Now we're going to create the security group. Okay, I will make this create this security group by scratch here. Just we'll go through the process. We are going to have to add port 80 to access the web later, but right now we'll allow SSH traffic from, and we can go in and we'll update the security group later. Storage is defaults. Okay, let's just go ahead and launch this here, and it'll take a few minutes or 2, but we shall launch the instance. Wait a few minutes to let it come up, and it did. So I'm going to hit ec2, and here you can see my PHP test page is now running. So let's take a look at some of the details here. Public running, okay. I'm going to have to go down to the security group here. Let's go to security. There's a lot of ways of doing this, but I'll go here to the security group here. What we're going to need to do is I want to add a rule here to allow 880 to come in, because right now we can SSH in, but we cannot, the web will not work. So let's add a rule here. Let's see, it should be in here actually. Just do HTTP. All right, I'll just add, I'm not going to do secure. Okay, we'll do all. Okay, that should at least get us into the web. The web page should launch. Okay, so I saved the rules. Okay, we're looking good now. So our web page and our ec2 instance are launching. Now we're going to have to log in and create our PHP page to connect to the RDS instance. Okay, now we need to connect to our instance to do some configuration work. So I'm going to connect here to connect and connect. It'll take a second or two to reach in here. All right, I did do a little bit of cheating here. I did copy some commands here, just so you don't have to watch me type. Okay, so this is the command we're going to have to run to install. The first thing I'm going to do is just let's do a sudo apt update. It's kind of a standard here. Give it a second here. Okay, that's a typical thing here. Now let's go ahead here and install our Apache. This is the actual web server that we're going to need to install. Go ahead and do this. Yes. Loading it in here. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and install my Apache. I'm sorry, bear with me here, my PHP stuff. It's the next step, and this should get us up and running. Yes. Okay, we're looking good. That's the install. Let's go take a look at and see if everything's running. I'll wait for a second there. Let me go ahead here and let's just make sure that Apache is actually running here. Service with Apache 2. We'll go status. It should be running. All right, we're looking good. Let me just make this permanent so when it boots up, it'll start. Control, enable. This should be Apache 2. Okay, we're looking good. So let's just go get the web page. We should be able to connect now to this, my web page. Let's go take a look here, and let's just get the public IP address and see if this will open. Give it a second here. And it did finally pull up here, Apache default page 384.103.46. All right, so in the next section, we're actually going to create a PHP, and we're going to connect it to our RDS SQL database.